Good morning and welcome to Farm Factor. I'm your host, Jamie Bloom. Today, Duane Toews visits with Dane Kuper to talk about big data and how it can be used in the livestock industry. Then enjoy this week's Kansas Soybean update. Next, Duane Toews talks with Don Close from Rabobank about the future of market trends. Then it's this week's Kansas Farm Bureau update, and we'll end with Plain Talk featuring Kyle and Duane. Stay with us.
Closed captioning brought to you by Ag Promo Source. Together we grow. Learn more at agpromosource.com. This segment brought to you by Kansas Farm Bureau, the voice of agriculture. To join today or more information, go to kfb.org or find us on Facebook and Twitter.
Welcome to Farm Factor. Up first today, Duane Toews and Dane Kuper talk about big data and technology and how it can help those in the livestock industry.
Duane Toews joining you once again here on Ag AM in Kansas, and a chance to catch up with Dane Kuper with Performance Livestock Analytics. And Dane, we think about the world of agriculture. It's been said that data will be king and data is dollars, but we're really starting to kind of see that start to show its face on the livestock side, a little behind those in the agronomy perspective.
Yeah, I think so. I think, we're a little bit behind the technology curve of what we've seen in livestock. I think we've seen probably a bigger investment financially in row crops, which has probably pursued that a little faster. But, it's an exciting opportunity right now in livestock.
Talk a little bit about what we can do with data. I think sometimes we get producers that are a little overwhelmed with the numbers, but having the right software can make things a lot easier.
Yeah, I think so. I think big data is challenging for a lot of people, and it's challenging to define what it is. And I think, pretty simply put, we look at it as your ability to just process large amounts of data to make better decisions. And there's a lot of technologies that can help us do that today. And really, that's the focus of what we do. And I think that's the biggest opportunity this industry has, is saying, how can we make quicker and better, more financially sound decisions?
We think about the world of technology. It is changing so rapidly, becoming cheaper all the time as well.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's exciting. There's more connected mobile devices than people. And when you conceptualize that, it's hard to think of that. But, the world is connected. These farming operations have connectivity for the most part now. And so And the ability to store data is getting cheaper and cheaper every day. So we feel like it's an opportunity to bring it together and actually utilize it.
Your Performance Livestock Analytics actually has a program that really allows for a kind of a holistic approach. You can share that data with the partners that you have in the operation if you so choose.
Yeah, that's right. So it's a cloud-based operating system for feedlots, backgrounders, really anyone that's bunk feeding and managing cattle. It allows them to process their data into a cloud-based system and allow more people within their trusted network to actually analyze it in real time and kind of take away the need to share files and share data after the fact. We want to have it there in real time to make better decisions for these operations.
One of the points is, and a lot of talk about junk in, junk out, you've got to eliminate that with scales and actual performance parameters.
Yeah, for sure. So we actually put a Bluetooth device on the scale head, and these operations feed with a cellular iPad or an iPhone today. So you're able to watch and see everything in real time. And so we're capturing accurate real-time data, which is so important when you look at doing analytics and making decisions. It's got to be good data. And so automating that process and making sure it's actually what's happening is important.
So even if it's the owner that says, I accomplished what the batch ration said, we really know if we look back at the numbers, and it'll tell us whether we got it done or not.
Yeah, it does. Today there's 700 operations that feed cattle every day on performance beef. And you start to see that. Once they get on the platform, you see a lot of variability in what actually happened versus what the goal was, and then they start to improve because they're looking at that data after they're done, and it's just more accessible for them to improve either themselves or help their actual employees improve.
All right, thanks to Dane Kuper joining us here on Ag AM in Kansas, talking about data and its use in the livestock industry, how we move forward from here in terms of the economic value for producers and ultimately their bottom line. Jamie, we'll send it back to you.
Thanks, Duane. Folks, come back after these messages for this week's Kansas Soybean Update.
Ag Promo Source is a unique group of marketing specialists with one mission: help your ag business grow. Each affiliate has their own area of expertise, and they work together to bring you advice, products, and services. To get started, visit agpromosource.com. Ag Promo Source. Together we grow.
Are your cows practical or profitable? If you want them to be both, come to the Dale Banks Angus Bull Sale Saturday, November 17th near Eureka, Kansas. Selling 140 yearling and coming 2-year-olds who have spent their days on the rugged pastures of the Flint Hills. For 114 years, the Perriers have been focused on providing hard-working, balanced trait bulls for progressive cattlemen nationwide. Make plans to join us November 17th or pre-register to bid online. For more information and to view our catalog, visit www.dalebanks.com.
This segment is brought to you by the Kansas Soybean Commission. The Soybean Checkoff. Progress powered by Kansas farmers.
Welcome back to Farm Factor and the Kansas Soybean Update.
This is the Kansas Soybean Update. It's brought to you by the Kansas Soybean Commission. The Soybean Checkoff, progress powered by Kansas farmers. David White joins us. He serves on the Kansas Bankers Association, Kansas Ag Bankers Board of Directors. And David, the state of the farm economy has weakened the past couple of years. As farmers come in to speak with their bankers, are they and will they experience a different environment when they have that meeting?
The answer to that's a little bit nuanced, a little bit yes, a little bit no. I think by and large, across most of our customer bases, it seems like folks are still in decent financial shape, depending on how they manage things in those good years, but things certainly are more lean with kind of those tougher years that we've seen here the last couple of years. The banking regulators are certainly increasing their scrutiny of each bank's ag portfolios. So as the regulators ratchet up their scrutiny of those portfolios, the management at the banks tend to also kind of increase their awareness. So loan officers are probably going to be asking more questions, asking for more detailed info than possibly years in the past when it was a little bit easier to just say, hand in your tax return and balance sheet and kind of get renewal within a few days. So probably some more questions, a little bit more detailed discussion about forecasts and budgets and plans compared to recent years.
And this is where it's key for that farmer really being proactive in communicating with their banker?
Absolutely. Anything that the farmer can do to help make the loan officer's job easier is just going to help yourself that much more.
And it really entails being prepared ahead of time with the proper documents that you need.
Absolutely. If you've got your row crop line of credit coming due here in, let's say 60 days, a lot of lines are kind of due into December or maybe stretching into January. Be reaching out to your loan officer ahead of time and be asking your loan officer what they need in terms of documentation, what suggestions or guidance they have maybe on some budgeting, getting your arms around cost of production and plans for marketing your crop that maybe you just took off, so that you can kind of go in and have a very productive meeting and conversation to really help that loan officer along as much as you can.
It's so much like farming in the aspect preparation is so key in all this.
No different than getting all your prep work done in the spring before you get the planter rolling. You kind of do all that preventative maintenance, if you will, checking bearings, replacing worn out blades, what have you. You really need to kind of do the same thing on the business front.
David, we appreciate your time. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Greg.
That is David White, who serves on the Kansas Bankers Association's Kansas Ag Bankers Board of Directors, who joins us on the Kansas Soybean Update. It's brought to you by the Kansas Soybean Commission. The Soybean Checkoff, progress powered by Kansas farmers. Learn more at kansassoybeans.org. For Kansas Soybeans, I'm Greg Akagi.
Hope you enjoyed this week's Kansas Soybean Update. Stay with us after the break for more with Duane Toews and Don Close.
What if sustainability were synonymous with U.S. soy? If energy efficiency, water quality, and soil health help define U.S. soy's value, that future is here, the time is now. To meet end-user demands, the Soybean Checkoff is committing to sustainability that's achievable, worthwhile, and enduring. A message from the Kansas Soybean Commission, the Soybean Checkoff. Progress powered by Kansas farmers.
All over the country, more and more communities are making the change to biodiesel made from U.S. soybean oil. And the decision continues, improving the health and welfare for millions of Americans while adding billions to our national economy.
Sure Crop Fertilizers was started by my father, Don Sherman, and my mother, Shirley Sherman. Family business that started in the 80s. We predominantly focus on plant nutrients and what we can do to give growers better responses with the fertilizer dollars that they do, and what we can do to make those things work better for the grower. We're based out of Seneca, Kansas. We work with growers in their soil analysis to figure out what they need, and then we can put those in a blend that gives them the best results, and so that we can deliver that direct to their farm so that they have those nutrients where they need them, when they need them, and so that they can apply them in a manner that's very efficient to them and works well in their planting systems and what they're doing. Sure Crop Fertilizers has been around for a long time. We always say we're big enough to take care of everything you need, but yet we're small enough to do it quickly. You can get a hold of us at 1-800-635-4743. Our website is surecropfertilizers.com, and you can always email me at Corey@surecropfertilizers.com, and with any questions you have, we'll be glad to answer it and work with you.
Kim Mandarin with Hardy Insurance. I'm here to help you with all of your farm and ranch needs. When it comes to protecting your operation and your family, you need a name you can trust at a price you can afford. Call me today or visit hardyaviationins.com.
This segment brought to you by Sure Crop, liquid crop nutrition delivered right to your farm.
We're back. Now we learn more about the Rabobank with Duane Toews and Don Close.
Duane Toews joining you once again here on Ag AM in Kansas, and an opportunity to catch up with Don Close with Rabobank. And Don, we think about the beef industry and changes. One thing's for certain, like in many industries, change and adaptability is going to be key for producers as we go forward.
I think you're absolutely correct. And if I look back over the 40 plus years that I've been in the business, I cannot think of a time that there's so many moving pieces in today's market that makes it more difficult. The other thing going on, particularly right now, you got all of these tariff trade issues going on. I've never seen a time there's just so much noise in the market. And at the end of the day, I really don't think it's much more than that, but it just clutters the field as we try to decipher and work through these issues.
As we look to the next 3 to 5 years down the road, focus on consumer has certainly been a bigger presence within industry circles, and it provides some interesting opportunities.
I think there's some incredible opportunities, and as we talked this morning, we're 2018, we know that the millennial population has outnumbered baby boomers for a number of years, but 2018 is the year that the baton will pass, that the millennials will have more spending power than the boomers. So I don't know that means radical changes, but just as we see the concerns of interest of those younger consumers being a bigger driver in the marketplace. But I also see the really good opportunities, certainly in the last several years, with the growing economy and the demand that has created for beef has been like nothing I've ever seen before.
We talk about always concerned about changes. There's other segments of the food chain delivery system that are going to see even bigger changes than those who are providing the food at the base source.
I believe that's true, and the area where I would focus that transition, the conventional food manufacturer and how their change up in market share, the change we're seeing with the growth in store brands at the expense of a lot of traditional center aisle products. I think that the sensitivity that both the cattle industry and beef processors will have to be more sensitive to what are the concerns and requests of that consumer and the buying power that they drive. And then finally, I think if we see the transition from conventional brick and mortar stores to online shopping, that the conventional brick and mortar stores will face either radical changes in their business model, or B, will become less and less of an influence in the marketplace.
Talk a little bit about the North American beef market. You referenced that Mexico is going to become a bigger player in the years ahead. But not only domestically do we not necessarily want to be the low-cost protein choice, but the high-quality choice.
clearly, if you take the 20% increase in the percentage of choice and prime cattle that we produce on average today over where we were at in the late 70s, early 80s, you take the improvement in cattle quality, both with the Mexican incorporation of Mexico into that mix, but the quality of product Canada produces. North America, I like to use the analogy, is in position to be the BMW Mercedes-Benz dealer to the world on beef quality. I think we've got emerging markets with India and the production of Cara beef and being the low cost of low cost producers. So if you take that other 8 to 10 beef exporting countries, does that leave them in a position to try to be the ultimate low cost producer and compete on that end, or do they make the considerations, changes that they would have to make to compete on beef quality? And I think the other beef producing countries are just constantly going to be in a state of tug of which market do they try to focus on.
All right, thanks to Don Close joining us here on Ag AM in Kansas. Jamie, we'll send it back to you.
Thanks, Duane. Come back after the break for this week's Kansas Farm Bureau update.
Valley Vet Supply is devoted to providing information and professional quality products at reasonable prices.
ValleyVet.com, ValleyVet.com, Valley Vet Supply.
Earlier in my life, I rode bucking horses and rodeos, and my shoulders took such a beating, and that was probably the reason for having several previous surgeries on both shoulders. About a year ago, I decided that I didn't want to have another surgery, and so I contacted Kansas Regenerative Medicine, took their treatment process. It was relatively pain-free. Now, after 8 months, my shoulders have healed to the point where I think I'm probably 90 to 95% of normal. It takes a couple of months to start to see results and feel real progress. That continued to increase gradually until now at approximately 8 months. And I'm extremely pleased. I've got full range of motion. I can lift weights, I can throw, I can do a lot of things that I couldn't do without a lot of pain previously. So I'm tickled to death with the results, and I'd recommend this process to anyone.
With nearly 100 years of broadcasting excellence, Ren Radio is now live on the internet playing hit songs of the 50s, 60s, and 70s. Join Jack Diamond, Mac Collins, Les Glenn, Frankie C., Antonio Barber, Wings Callahan, and the real Don Steele for some of the best music ever recorded. Hear it at rendigitalmedia.com or get the Ren Oldies Radio app in Play Store or App Store. And tell Alexa, good times and great oldies on Ren Internet Radio.
This segment brought to you by Kansas Farm Bureau, the voice of agriculture. To join today or more information, go to kfb.org or find us on Facebook and Twitter.
Welcome back to Farm Factor and the Kansas Farm Bureau update.
I'm Carrie Frazier. I am from Cloud County, and I represent the 5th District for the Young Farmers and Ranchers Committee. The reason I'm involved is just because I have a passion for agriculture growing up on a farm, realizing that Farm Bureau offers that unified voice. Many of us as ag producers don't have time to dedicate that time to be in town lobbying, but on those issues that affect us, the laws and regulations that affect the ag industry every day. And through the grassroots program, every Farm Bureau member has a avenue to voice their opinion in what Farm Bureau will represent. The resources it provides for the ag industry, it's something to be said that there's still a Farm Bureau in every county, all 105 counties. And so through the Young Farmers and Ranchers, it's provided several leadership opportunities to step up and develop more as an individual from our operation, but also in our rural community. It provides that network of young farmers that's always crucial to have that network of other agriculturalists. Every time we come to, whether it's just a daily meeting or if it's the annual meeting where we see everybody together, it's very refreshing to come to these and realize that what we are doing, we do have an influence in, and we are part of a great organization. It's very worth the time.
Stay with us. We'll be back after the break with Plain Talk.
This week is the Tarwater Farm and Home 40th Anniversary and Annual Key Days sale. All Key and Polar King items are on sale. Work is tough. Key is tougher. Bib overalls, insulated overalls, jeans, denim shirts, insulated jackets and coats, and so much more. Enjoy free popcorn and find 40th Anniversary sale savings store-wide. Get your Christmas shopping done early. This week, the 40th Anniversary Key Days sale at Tarwater Farm and Home, 4107 North Topeka Boulevard.
Kim Mandarin with Hardy Insurance. I'm here to help you with all of your farm and ranch needs. When it comes to protecting your operation and your family, you need a name you can trust at a price you can afford. Call me today or visit hardyaviationins.com.
KFRM is one of the largest farm radio stations in the nation, dedicated to informing and entertaining rural listeners from northern Oklahoma to southwestern Nebraska. You can catch KFRM in many ways. Of course, 550 on the AM dial, streaming at kfrm.com, or on your smartphone by going to the TuneIn Radio app, or on Ag AM in Kansas on Tuesdays and Facebook every day of the week. KFRM, tune us in. You'll be glad you did.
This segment brought to you by Kansas Corn. Learn more at kscorn.com.
Welcome back. Now let's see what Kyle and Duane are up to on Plain Talk.
Hi, this is Kyle Bauer with Plain Talk, with the man who thought that many places the doghouse is better than the rest of the property, Duane Toews.
Your fact or fiction question today: Antarctica.
Yes.
The only continent without reptiles. Fact or fiction?
Well, now that would make sense. I'm going through the other continents in my mind. I could reel them off if you like.
That's okay. We don't have time.
Reptiles. But there is part of Antarctica that gets warm enough to melt snow, but a reptile has to be above 50 degrees to function, don't they? I'm going to go with fact.
It is a fact. Not only do they not have reptiles, they don't have snakes either in Antarctica.
Snakes are not reptiles.
Evidently not.
They're both cold-blooded.
Yes.
What's the difference between a snake and a reptile?
That wasn't part of my question, sir.
Let me tell you a little story
later.
that I had a big aha. One day I went to a snake pit. You ever been to a snake pit?
No, on purpose.
The tourist, yeah, exactly. It was a tourist thing along the road.
Oh, yeah.
Sign, big billboards, black out
big
the sky.
Sign. Stop here. See the snakes.
Yeah, exactly. So I went in, and I'd driven by it 100 times. I went in and gave him my $5. And there was a enclosed area that had, I would guess it was 10, 12 feet across, and it had a half a dozen rattlesnakes in it.
Not just snakes, but poisonous ones to boot.
They were rattlesnakes. They were all rattlesnakes. And one of the rattlesnakes was all coiled up there, and sitting right on top of him was a little white mouse just sleeping right there on top of him.
Sure, he was sleeping.
No, he was. He was just, it's like, this is a nice place to sit. And it's like, and I asked the guy, I said, so how long's that mouse been in there? And he said, I don't know, 7, 8 days, something like that.
Really?
And I said, so they don't eat him? And he goes, not till they get hungry.
Uh-huh.
And I thought, there's a real life lesson there, Duane. As long as the rattlesnakes around you do not get hungry, it's okay to hang out with them.
Yeah, keep them fed.
Yeah, but the second they get hungry, it ain't a good place to be.
Might be a bad deal.
Yeah, I thought, real life lesson there, and I've shared that with all of my kids. I don't know if they took it to heart or not, but they don't listen to me most of the time.
I was going to say, I hope you didn't. Maybe you had to explain more than you wanted to.
About what a rattlesnake was?
Yeah.
I had to explain to you what a snake pit was.
Yeah. Well, I thought maybe you were out there on the prairie and you come across an old hand-dug well that had been abandoned and it was full of snakes.
I have heard those stories many times. I don't doubt that they are true, but I have never stumbled onto that. I've heard some that just makes your skin crawl.
Yeah, I've heard stories of people that their basement, for one reason or another, all of a sudden became an attractive place.
Yeah, they'd lived there for many, many years, never really had a snake problem.
Right, and then all of a sudden one year, they did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
carried them out by the buckets full.
Wow.
That's, talk about making your skin crawl.
Okay, did you carry them out alive or did they carry them out dead?
I didn't ask how they just said they carried them out by the 5 buckets full. That's some serious snake action there.
Thanks for joining us. I'm your host, Jamie Bloom, and I hope you enjoyed today's show. See you next week on Farm Factor.
Closed captioning brought to you by Ag Promo Source. Together we grow. Learn more at agpromosource.com.